Hello and welcome to this book review for Taran Matharu's, and hopefully I'm not butchering the names, Dragon Rider. I literally just finished this today, so I was like, all right, let me get it out. I saw this book in the cinema. I saw this book in the bookstore for a while now. I come in, I'm like, it looks good. The cover looks good. And I read the reviews a lot of it, and they were like, kind of like, it's 7 out of 10, things like that, which I felt was generally accurate. But let's start with what I think is nice about this book. Firstly, the setting of this book is that there's this slave boy servant to some old king. He's not like the king right now, he's like an old king. His son and grandson are alive, and he's his servant. He was taken from one other kingdom, and we see the story from his eyes. His name is Jay, and like the political situation, how it changes because of a marriage coming up. And generally the story follows Jay as he becomes a dragon rider. There you go. So what I like about this story is that firstly, it is quite dark, and I don't like dark just for the sake of darkness, but this is a book that deals with things like war and the slavery and things like that. So it shouldn't be lighthearted. So I like that it was suitably dark for the topic we're doing with, which is cool. It also starts off, I feel like, stronger than it ends. It starts off with this political marriage that's happening between these two kingdoms, and we see how Jay is witnessing like all of these private meetings and discussions, and he's like, wait, something's going on. Both sides are going to try to do something here. And I thought that was kind of cool, how Jay's sort of in the middle of it. I enjoyed that. The book also has some great characters. When we're talking about the discussion like this, where there's war and slavery and a lot of darker themes, it's nice that some characters are like, we're not good guys, but we're definitely not in the we kill people whoever we see category. Like the best character was this old king that I just started off with, where he's kind of like regretting a lot of the things he's doing, but he can't really showcase it because he's built this giant empire. But he's old and he's like, I don't know if I did the right thing conquering the world, which I really like. I also kind of like Jay because he's full of flaws. Like he's a bit of a coward. He is scared to fight. Like he makes bad decisions. He's impulsive. Like I like him. I like that he is not perfect. But actually, I don't want to say I like him because he's not that likable, but he's at least somewhat compelling. So he's got a bonus there. And that's kind of like the positives that I liked for this story. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I felt were either mixed or I just didn't really get into. Firstly is that this world felt very small. Even though we're supposed to be like this giant empire, we only see Jay's point of view, and I'm very sure that this is going to be like a trilogy or something. It's not going to be one book. It doesn't end with a one book thing. So it's weird to me that we spend so little time setting up any other character or outside. Like there's maybe 10 named characters in this entire book, and some of them just come in for like 100 pages and you never see them again. We're just following Jay most of the time. We see the whole world through Jay, and I thought that was a bit of a problem. I'm used to books like this, these big epics, that have many point of views, so you get to see the war from very different sides. Seeing it only from Jay and his very limited perspective made the whole thing feel very small. I didn't like that. I felt it would have been much better if we had like 2 or 3 more point of view characters. Another thing is that while I do like that it's dark, our protagonist goes from one form of suffering to another form of suffering. It's like, they're beating him up because he's a slave. Oh, no, they're beating him up because he's, running away. Oh, no, they're kicking his ass because, reasons. Or, oh, he's being tortured now. So there's very little moments where you get, like, something fun. That doesn't mean not interesting, by the way. I read the book in, like, a week. I could have finished it in like a couple of days earlier, but I just didn't feel I had stuff to do. But there's just no moments where you're like sort of like the gangs together having fun over a campfire, saying stories or things like that. So I really wish we had more good moments. Even at one point, even the character himself, Jay, he's like, man, I have had not one moment to talk to my dragon. He's like, I've never even talked to my dragon. And I felt like that was very clear. Like, we get this connection between him and his dragon that is very strong. I get it because we see them do stuff, but it would have been nice if we saw them do more stuff instead of just like, oh, our stuff is we survive, and that's kind of it. Another thing that I think for me felt like a negative, but I'm not sure some other people see it that way, is that the writing is very simple. You don't get like very colorful, what is it called? Prozac? Yes, you don't get Prozac. It's not like super flowery. It's very much like, here's what's happening. I'm going to describe it to you exactly as it is. With that's it. You know, just, here it is. It feels simpler than Brandon Sanderson, who has been known to write quite simple. Like that is, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been spoiled lately. I've been reading a lot of like C.J. Sansom and Tchaikovsky, and I'm a big fan of Rothfuss and Grm, Grrm. So when I read this, I'm like, this is quite simple in the way it's written, and I don't know. I just feel like it could have done more to grab me in. There's also a little bit too much description about the powers that Jay goes through. So most of the time he's got this thing called a core, and he fills it up with mana. I'm like, cool, awesome, all right, got it. And all the time he's talking about, my core has quarter mana, my core has 10% mana, my core has half mana. I'm like, we get it. Your core is not full. And that's just generally the story. Like there's so many descriptions of Jay. There's more description of Jay talking about his body and the magic system in it than him talking to anyone else. He's like all the time, he's like, I feel, the power, the coursing, the mana, the chakra, the light, the things, the warmth, everything like that. And sometimes I'm like, just, I got it, man. Like, can we move on? And overall, it's a very predictable story. If you follow fantasy, knight in shining armor, dragons, a little bit of bad guys in there, kingdom stuff, this is very, very predictable. There's a couple of twists that happen. One of them I didn't see coming, I'll admit. One of them, from the start, I was like, okay, I know who this person is exactly, and they're going to pretend it's a big reveal. And then 500 pages in, they're like, it's a big reveal. And you're like, no, we knew this, like literally 400 pages ago. We knew this. So it's very predictable. It's just more brutal and sad than usual. That's really it's like every, fantasy story you've ever read, just more brutality and more sadness. Does that mean I can recommend it? In all honesty, I don't regret my time reading it. I'll probably buy book 2 when it comes out. I might read a few reviews, and if people are like, oh, it's better, I'll be like, okay, I get it. It's as good, probably get it. Not as good, I'll be like, nah, it's not worth it. But do I recommend other people read it? Honestly, no. I can't tell you, go spend your money, it's going to be life-changing. I'm just going to be like, it's fine. If you really like what you've heard so far, buy it. If you feel like, oh, these negatives are a bit much, don't get it, because these negatives are going to be prevalent from my point of view. If you like this video, subscribe. I'm doing a bunch of these reviews for books, and hey, who knows, tell me what book you would like me to read next. See you around.